Alrighty, so here we got a couple DS450 rear wheel hubs, and I saw this come up in the forum recently. Someone purchased a rear wheel hub for their machine, and the hub didn't work for their particular model machine. And here I'm just going to do a video showing exactly what got changed on the DS450 to make that difficult to do. So the DS450 was made from essentially 2008 to 2015 for the model years. So technically you could say it was 2007 to 2014, and then the next year up was the model year. And what happened is, in the early years, so this is the earlier hub. All right, real quick, this is what changed. The lug, that's it. So the early year had a flat lug and with a thread pitch of M10 by 1.5. After 2009 and up, the thread pitch went from M10 by 1.25, and Can-Am went to a tapered style lug nut. So that's the change. So the original ones had a flat nut and then a washer that went between here and the rim, and the newer ones, 09 and up, went with the typical style with the tapered lug nut, and then the thread pitch changed. Here's what the wheels would have looked like 2009 and later. So they had the tapered inserts, which fit inside of these, and that was the change, which also changed the thread pitch. The first generation had just the flat, and then the lug nut would mount to the flat of the rim, and that's what was happening. Why do I think Can-Am switched it later? Because the self-centering of the lug nut is phenomenal in terms of centering the wheel to the hub, and then also keeping tension around the tapered lug nut to make sure everything stays tight. So yeah, that's that. But if you buy the hub, the hubs are the same. They're identical. The only thing that's different is going to be the studs. So if you buy older hub, or you get an older hub, you can change the studs out and everything's going to be good to go. Just match the studs to whichever pitch you need. What's kind of interesting is the part number on both of the hub specifically. So Can-Am calls this whole thing an assembly without the nut on it, and same with this whole piece is an assembly. Both of these hubs have the exact same part number on the inside, but what changes the assembly part number is the studs. So the M10 by 1.25 hub, which is right here, which is the 2009 to 2015, is part number 705501075. That's the whole assembly. The early one, 2008 and such, is 705500664, and I wrote it right there, and then I also wrote it right there. So everything else is the same between these hubs. Same splines, same height, same inside part number. The only thing that changes is the studs, and when the studs change, the whole assembly part number changes. I hope that was able to clear some things up, so when y'all are out there buying your parts, you're a little more familiar with what's going on. And another word of advice, safety point of view, I would not interchange these. Do not put the tapered nut on here, right? Even though the hub will fit, no problem. But when you tighten this down and that tapered nut, it goes onto something that should be flat, bad news is going to happen. And the same the other way around. Putting the flat nut onto the rear wheel. These rear wheels are meant for that taper, and when you put that nut on there, it just doesn't center like it's supposed to. So just be wise with your purchases. If you've got any questions or comments, leave them in the chat below. And if this information helped you, I'm going to list these up on my eBay store, and you'll be able to buy them from there, which will help me out.